Victory is won. To all my brothers out there. Hold your head up, brother, till the victory is won. To all my sisters in the struggle. Keep believing, sister, till the victory is won. Till that day. Till that day comes. Hey. Let us march on. To victory. Till victory is won.
I have an amazing extended family and a circle of friends who
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring. Ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening sky. Let it resound. Let it resound. As the rolling sea. I like this part right here. Come on. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the
Hello, everyone, and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us here today. My name is Devaney Hubbard, and it's my privilege on behalf of the Black History Month Planning Committee to welcome you all, and thank you so much for joining us. I know that we're all stuck in our homes and developing a little bit of like cabin fever and definitely sick of staring at our computers. However, our committee's put together an exciting selection of events to celebrate Black history. Our theme for this year is the legacy, our existence, and my identity. This month is more than just a time to solely reflect on the past. It's a time to honor how far we've come and recognize how much further we need to go. We hope that you all enjoy the programs that we have planned and that these activities influence positive discussions throughout your homes, communities, workplaces, etc. At this point, we ask that you all please turn on your camera so that we can take a quick group photo. Let us know, we'll give you a couple seconds to do so.
Hi, everyone. We'll count you down. Welcome. Giving you a couple more seconds to turn on your camera as you're able to. If you can't, no worries. I'll capture the square that you're in with your name. If you want to look forward, here's the first photo. Here it comes. 1, 2, 3. And now if you would like to do the coyote sign. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Keep smiling. We have multiple windows. I have to keep going. So keep smiling, y'all. Keep smiling. I'm still taking more pictures. 1, 2, 3. That's one screen. Here's another screen. 1, 2, 3. And one last one. One last one. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Excellent. Thank you.
Perfect. You all look so nice, and thank you so much for those that turned their cameras on to participate in that group photo. So now it is my great pleasure to introduce Dr. Jacob Chaco, who will share the CSUSB land acknowledgement.
Thank you so much, Dev. Again, my name is Dr. Jacob Chaco. I use he, him pronouns, and I serve as your Assistant Director for Diversity and Inclusion in the Santos Manuel Student Union. A land acknowledgement is a formal statement that recognizes and respects Indigenous peoples as traditional stewards of a given geographic area and the enduring relationship that exists between Indigenous peoples and their ancestral territories. I, Jacob, recognize that I work from home and have settled on the land of the Kish nations of the Gabrieleño, which is known as present today Tongva or Orange County. When I go into work, I serve on the land of the San Manuel Band of Mission Indians. At CSUSB, we recognize that our university, California State University, San Bernardino, sits on the territory and ancestral land of the San Manuel Band of Mission Indians, the Uhaviatam clan. We recognize that every member of the California State University San Bernardino community has benefited and continues to benefit from the use and occupation of this land since the institution's founding in 1965. Consistent with our values of community and diversity, we have a responsibility to acknowledge and make visible the university's relationship to Native peoples by offering this land acknowledgement. We affirm Indigenous sovereignty and will work to hold California State University San Bernardino more accountable to the needs of American Indian and Indigenous peoples. I ask you all to find out whose land you are on and work collaboratively with the tribal nations who were stewards of these lands well before our time as settlers. You can initiate a search by using native-land.ca. I'll share that in the link soon. But please know that this website does not have all the treaties that are updated. This, by searching the land that you serve on and working with the tribes, is only a start. We encourage you to work with the nations, First Nations. Thank you for providing me this opportunity to share our land acknowledgement. I would now like to turn it over to my colleague, Professor Christy Papaye.
Thank you so much, Dr. Chaco. I'm Christy Papaye, and I am an assistant professor in the Theater Arts Department. And it is my great honor and privilege to read the Labor Acknowledgement that has been recognized by the California Faculty Association. We pay homage to those who were stolen from Africa, placed in bondage, falsely named as chattel, and forced into labor, who were called slaves but never submitted as such, who have always been fully human, with an unbroken connection to the divine and to each other. We honor our African ancestors for the still unpaid labor which built what is now the Americas. Ashe, Aibobo, Amen. It is my great pleasure now to turn it over to Charles Gaylord.
Thank you, Professor Papier. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Charles Gaylord, pronouns he, him, his, and I am the coordinator of the Pan-African Student Success Center. I'm going to share a brief piece before I lead you all in our moment of silence to acknowledge the Black lives that have been lost. So, as we commemorate our Black History Month festivities here at Cal State, it is important to acknowledge that Black history should not and cannot be celebrated in one calendar month. Our sojourn toward freedom is perfectly encapsulated by the theme of our Black History Month programming this year, the legacy, our existence, my identity. The legacy that our forebears struggled to safeguard through the very traditions that have been passed down through generations. Our existence that has been shaped by the peculiar duality of bliss and agony. My identity, which is the result of human agency that our ancestors utilized in the face of inconceivable oppression. While acknowledging and celebrating all of the different forms and shades of Blackness this month, it is also imperative that we recognize the lives lost that led us to this moment. It is my hope that everyone can join me in a moment of silence to honor the victims of state-sanctioned police violence. Thank you. All right. We should never forget the Black lives that have been lost to white supremacy. Nevertheless, it is our duty to celebrate the accomplishments of the notable figures we strive to be like and to inspire the Black faces we interact with in our daily lives. Black joy is an underestimated yet powerful form of resistance that operates outside the confines of the anti-Blackness that permeates our society. An anti-Blackness that polices our behavior while constricting our humanity. However, it is this humanity, this Black joy, that has been instrumental to our survival and fundamental to our brilliance in the face of struggle. While we celebrate the achievements of those that have come before us, it is also important to remember that our everyday actions are just as significant. Acts of self-love, upliftment, and just living your best life are just as powerful and cannot be celebrated in the calendar month. Black joy is a reminder that we celebrate Black history every day and that we are no longer subjected to society's ideals of who and what we should be. All right, so now I will turn it over to Professor Kathy Irvin, who will lead us in our libation blessing.
Thank you, Charles. My name is Catherine Irvin. I am the president of the Black Faculty, Staff, and Student Association and a proud member of the Theater Arts Department faculty. Happy Black History Month, although we celebrate all year. I am honored to offer a libation at this time. A libation is an offering held at the beginning of important ceremonies and events, and a time at which we like to think of the many ancestors on whose shoulders we stand. So I will invite you now for a moment to call those people into mind, to think of those wonderful individuals who have meant so much. We offer a cool drink to our ancestors. We thank you who struggled so hard, sacrificed so much that we, your descendants, might prosper. We honor and we remember you. And we say Ashe, which is so be it. Ashe, Ashe.
Yeah.
I want to offer a special thanks to the Black History Month Committee for all of their work putting together this wonderful time for reflection and celebration, and turn it over to Christy Papier.
Thank you so much, Professor Irvin. Now I'm going to introduce President Tomas Morales. He is the 4th president in Cal State San Bernardino history, having been named to the position in 2012. A staunch advocate of empowering student success throughout his extensive career as an educator and administrator, he has championed the importance of access to higher education and of preparing young people for collegiate success. At CSUSB, President Morales has overseen sustained growth in overall enrollment, the number of degrees awarded, community engagement, and university fundraising. Thank you so much for being here, President Morales.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you, Professor Papier, for that generous introduction. And thank you all for being here. And welcome to the 2021 kickoff. And as been indicated previously, we celebrate Black history, Black empowerment all year long. But I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge that this year the university has laid out an impressive calendar of virtual events to recognize the heritage, achievements, and contributions of Black Americans. I look forward to the thoughtful and engaging programming available for students, faculty, and staff, which actually began in January with an evening with Laverne Cox discussing the topics of advocacy, intersectionality, and media. Yesterday, I was blessed to attend this incredible panel hosted, entitled Lift as We Climb, discussion with a panel of amazing African-American women sharing their experiences at CSUSB. The discussion was incredibly powerful and revealing, and I applaud the organizers for assembling and hosting such an insightful event. On February 26, the annual Pioneer Breakfast will be held virtually as the Pioneer Scholarship Celebration. You know, Cal State San Bernardino is truly fortunate, truly blessed to have an array of faculty, student and staff affinity groups, and certainly the Black faculty staff affinity organization does so many wonderful things for students. And so I encourage each office at the university to buy a virtual table or buy a virtual tables, plural, because all of the funds that are raised at the program, at this Pioneer Scholarship Celebration, all of the funds go right back to support our students. This programming is the result of departments and organizations all across the campus involving faculty, staff, and students. I appreciate everyone's hard work and preparation of this month's schedule, especially Dr. Jacob Chaco, SMSU's Assistant Director of Diversity and Inclusion, along with his staff, for bringing us together today. My engagement in the community and my role as a member of SOB's Ambassador Council has shown me the need for continued involvement with the secondary school community, nonprofit organizations to amplify the message that college is a viable option, an important one for Black students. This involves advocating for and pushing not only to increase the number of Black students who decide to undertake the A through G curriculum, but also to persevere with those requirements to completion. And we all know that in California, the A through G is the gatekeeper. And indeed, in the 9th grade, we all must be vigilant to encourage all students of color, particularly our Black students, that indeed they can complete the A through G curriculum and apply and be competitive to a CSU or UC campus. Today, I would like to highlight 4 specific initiatives of which we are proud and which we focus on building the success of our Black students, both potential and enroll. First is the Next Generation Preparation Conference. This event is designed to assist 8th, 9th, and 10th grade Black students in preparing for enrollment in college after graduation. During their time at CSUSB, they will participate in workshops on leadership, engagement, and high school information on how to successfully navigate and indeed enroll in a college or university. And many of our student leaders, faculty, and staff are directly involved in that program. Second is Coyote Rising. Each summer, CSUSB hosts between 25 to 70 Black students who will be high school seniors the following year for a 3-day college access program. This initiative introduces the participants to college resources, staff and faculty, as well as to each other. This way they can build and support a support network, and that they navigate applying to college and also growing their connection to the campus. Coyote Rising has been recognized as an outstanding initiative in admissions orientation and first-year experience at the national level. Next, I want to highlight the Black Student Empowerment Symposium, previously known as the Black Student Leadership Symposium, also hosted by CSUSB. This event has focused on engaging Black high school juniors and seniors to prepare them to apply for CSUSB and other colleges and universities. Students have engaged in workshops in financial aid, learned about college life and student organizations. And again, I want to thank the many student leaders, student clubs and organizations, and our faculty and staff, particularly the Black Faculty, Staff, and Student Association, for their continued support in these programs. Finally, we are so proud of the extraordinary growth of our Pan-African Student Success Center, which we established in 2016. Its goal is to promote and support a sense of self-worth by focusing on developing the following 6 areas: academic excellence, cultural awareness, leadership development, personal development, proactive civic and community engagement, and civic engagement for people of the African diaspora. I'm delighted to announce the hiring of our new center coordinator, Charles Gaylord, who you heard from this morning. There will be an opportunity to meet him virtually at the Coyote Learning Center on February 23rd. Before I close, I want to express a heartfelt thanks to CSUSB's own Margaret Hill for speaking with us today. She is an educational and community leader in the IE, an author, and highly respected and much loved voice. We are proud to have you as an alumna and grateful to have you with us today. Welcome once again, and thank you for joining us in our efforts to build a more inclusive and welcoming community here at CSUSB for our Black students, faculty, and staff, and enjoy the event. Thank you.
Thank you, President Morales, for giving us that wonderful speech and opening to our kickoff. It is now my pleasure to introduce Dr. Margaret Hill, who will be our keynote speaker. Dr. Hill received her bachelor's degree from Norfolk State University and received her master's in education and administration right here at our very own Cal State San Bernardino. In 2011, she received her doctorate of educational justice degree from the University of Redlands. She began her teaching career in 1971 at San Bernardino High School and remained a part of the education system until 2003. During those years, she served in many roles as a teacher, teacher on assignment, vice principal, and a principal. After her retirement in 2003, she continued to work as an adjunct professor at California State University and the University of Redlands, where she taught prospective administrators effective communication skills, public relation, and human development. Dr. Hill returned to work at San Bernardino County Superintendent's School in 2006, where she served as Assistant Superintendent of Administrative Services. Prior to her second retirement, she was elected a board member for the San Bernardino City Unified School District, a position which she currently still holds. Dr. Hill remains active with several organizations and clubs throughout the community, which include, but are not at all limited to, the Highland Women's Club, San Bernardino Black Culture Foundation, Kiwanis of Greater San Bernardino, the San Bernardino Police Department Citizen Advisory Group, and the Dignity Health Foundation Board. She also owns a nonprofit called Maggie's Kids Foundation, where funds are raised to support students with scholarships and other educational necessities. She is the founder of Mob Mom, a group of women whose goal is to welcome and uplift students at elementary schools. Dr. Hill is the author of 2 books, one titled It's All About the Children, which was featured on C-SPAN, and the other titled From Sharecropping to Non-Stopping. In honor of her deceased husband, she's beginning her 3rd book, set to be titled It's Not All About Bob. It is an honor for us to have Dr. Hill present with us today, and I will not hold you from her any longer. So again, on behalf of the CSUSB Black History Month Planning Committee, we bring to you Dr. Margaret Hill.
Thank you, Divana. You know now as much about me as I know about myself. So thank you for coming and have a good day. Well, not really. I just want to say thank you, Dr. Morales. Thanks for those wonderful comments. Divana, thanks for sharing a lot of my lifeline, or as we say, that dash between then and now. And I just want to say to the Black History members, your planning committee, you've done an awesome job, and I'm so impressed with all of you. It's called Young People at Work, and I tell you, you have me jazzed. you have me jazzed. And whereas I threatened to go to Cracker Barrel and buy me one of those rocking chairs and put it out on the patio, I think I'll leave it there a little longer because I listened to you this morning before and during the beginning of this event. You have really charged my battery again, so I know I can't let anybody down right now. I want to say to the faculty of California State University San Bernardino, all of you in attendance, it's so good to see you and thank you for joining us this wonderful day. I heard Dr. Morales mention something about we do not just celebrate Black History in February. And I think it was yesterday I said to someone who wanted Ms. Rogers and I did a presentation, and they said, well, we're going to try to squeeze you in and again this month. And I said, well, you know, we're Black all year, so you don't have to just depend on us this month. Call on us anytime to talk about and tell our story. Well, I want to again deal with the theme. And I know I'm going to be aware of your time because the last thing you ever want to do when you speak is have people say, don't invite her or him back again. So I'm going to make sure you might not like what I say, but at least you can say it. I said in a record period of time. So again, as you see, my background is something that some of you say, oh my gosh, what in the world is that building? Well, that's Hunt Elementary School. That's where I received my education in the state of Virginia from the first grade through the 7th grade. It's a 2-room schoolhouse, 2 teachers, Miss Brown and Miss Baker. And we had one door, that was the front one, so you didn't get in trouble because you couldn't run out the back door. And as you can see that window, you couldn't jump through that either. And then what are you gonna do with all those bushes around? And at that time, there were ticks and bugs and everything else. So you didn't want to hide in those bushes either. But I shared that photo to kind of deal with the theme for today, legacy, our existence, and my identity. Now, one of the things I made a commitment to do, and if you read my article, I have an article that comes out in the Sun newspaper every Friday, the hard copy. But in January, I didn't make it a New Year's resolution, but I did make a commitment to be honest because one of my topic was how honest are we with ourselves? And I have to be the first to admit I have not been honest with myself because sometimes I tell people what they want to hear and not what I think they want to hear and not really what I want to say. So today I'm telling you about being honest with myself and sharing with you some things starting from that little room that I started when I was 5 years old, because I graduated from high school at age 16, and share with you first with the theme, the legacy, our existence, and my identity. And I'm starting with the legacy. That is my legacy. And by the time I finish with my presentation, you will know why. And I know when we talk about legacy, we usually think of Dr. Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, Booker T. Washington, Frederick Douglass. They are people that I honor and look up to, and I look at them as my mentors because things they have done, I tried to replicate and do those same things. So I don't look at them as much as my legacy as I do Hunt Elementary School back there. And the reason I say that is I need to tell you what I did not learn in that building. And I know this will probably upset some of us who went to all Black schools in the South. I didn't learn lift every voice and sing at Hunt Elementary School. I didn't learn who Booker T. Washington was. I did not learn there was a Negro History Month or a Negro History Week during that period of time when I went to Hunt Elementary School. Those are things that I did not learn. But what I did learn at that school was the importance of paying attention, being obedient, listening to others. And the one thing I learned that I probably shouldn't have learned was accepting everything I heard. And you know, you listen, but you don't have to accept but I also was brought up during a generation where you did accept or you didn't say anything. And in my case, I accepted because I thought all adults would tell us the truth. So there were a lot of things I didn't learn. I did learn the Lord's Prayer, not only in church, but going to that school because we said it every morning. I did learn the Pledge of Allegiance because we said it every morning. I did learn My Country Tills of Thee, America, but I did not learn even the Star Spangled Banner going to Hunt Elementary School. Our curriculum was given to us by people who didn't know us. So we learned what they wanted us to do. Doesn't sound a little familiar with what's going on in education today? So when the pandemic hit and people say, I can't wait to get back to normal, I'm saying to myself, why? I didn't think it was all that good. I should have learned a lot more than I learned during that period of time. So I'm saying that to say, I'm taking advantage of what I learned in that 2-room schoolhouse that did not have hot and cold running water, did not have an indoor toilet, that did not have a heating system. I learned in that room, and it would always be my legacy. So now when we get to our existence, I exist because of my legacy, that room. The one thing that I learned was it was not how I wanted to live the rest of my life. And I'm just going to share with you a story about a young lady that I was not mentoring, but when I retired, I went to an elementary school and I was in a classroom where this one little girl was being a little obnoxious. And the teacher probably didn't know what to do. I was on the school board that time, so I shouldn't have been a threat. And I wrote about this in my first book. So this young lady, she just kept mouthing off. So I just went up to her and invited her outside. So when we got outside, she continued to mouth off. So I said, she must think I'm one of those students she was talking to in the room. So she would talk and I always had to come back. And she would say something and I had to come back. And everything she said, I was ready for. It was a one-on-one. Then this little girl who happened to be, I believe, in the 5th grade, put her hands on her hip and said, look over there. She said, see that apartment building? Because before that, she had used some profanity. And I said, you've done okay, but you don't have to use profanity because I pretty much, I do understand English words quite well. So you don't need to use the profanity. So what she did, after she used profanity a couple of times and I asked her not to, she put her hands on her hips and she said, I live over there. I smell the drugs and see the drugs every day and every night. I hear the gunshots every day and every night. My parents are in there cussing and drinking and doing drugs and everything. She said, what do you expect from me? And all of a sudden I drew a blank. I said, what do I say to this young lady now? So what I did, I put my hand on my hip. I said, let me tell you something. I said, when I was your age, I had to go to a school where we used old raggedy books and had to pay for them. They were not free. I said, I had to, we didn't have electricity at home nor at school. I mentioned that we had the outdoor toilet. And I mentioned how we had to use the different water to drink. I mentioned the slop dog that we had in the house at night in case we had to go to the restroom. So I mentioned all these things. And so I looked at her. I said, so now what's your problem? She looked at me and she said, you mean you had to go outside to use the toilet? And I said, yes. I said, and there are people who are still doing that in the South. I said, you know why I'm here where I am now? I said, I used my education to get here. I said, what you're doing in the classroom going to get you to one of those outdoor toilets. It's not going to get you in a house where you have 2 or 3 restrooms and things of that nature. And I said, anything else? She said, I can't believe you had to go outside to use the toilet. I said, well, let me tell you what it was like. Let me tell you how it was shaped. Let me tell you how it smelled. Let me tell you how it was moved and things of that nature. And I said, so if you want to get out of your situation, do something about it and do some good things in the classroom. So about a month later, I went back to the classroom and they announced the winners of academic winners who had done well. I think it was in either English or something. And they called her name. You would have thought I was the exorcist. My neck almost came off my body. I looked at her, I was so shocked. And she just looked at me and smiled and did a thumbs up. I don't remember her name, don't know what happened to her, but at least I was glad that story, you know, what helped her at least get to that point. So what I'm saying to all of you young people, your story doesn't have to have a good beginning, but always work on it to have a good ending. And as we celebrate the Black History Month, remember that Dr. Martin Luther King is very important. Rosa Parks is very important. But you know who else is very important? You are. Every one of you on this Zoom, you're very important because you have something to offer. You have something to give everybody. It doesn't matter whether you're white, whether you're Black, whether you're Asian, whether you're Native American. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're Latino, if you any you belong to any of our diverse groups. You have something to offer. And when you leave here today, I hope you will understand how important you are and how important you take a look at your skills and offer them to somebody. So when you get to my identity, that's why when I came to California in 1969, I said, okay, a new beginning. I will do things a little differently. So my identity, and I have people say to me, and I had a gentleman send me a text this morning, had another one call me this morning to say, you are such a leader. I said, well, I don't see myself as a leader. I see myself as someone who loves my city, who loves my people, who loves all people. And I tell you, I'm getting ready to do something right now. I'm still debating, so doing it. But I met this young man who came here when he was in kindergarten, graduated from one of our local high schools. He had to hire an attorney to stay in this country, and he is now in his early 20s. And so I'm beginning to work with him on what can we do to get the ball rolling so you can become a citizen. I think it's absolutely ridiculous to be in this country this long. And when you come over as a kindergartner, you don't come over because you want to. You come over because you're coming with family or someone. So those are the things we have to do. So when I deal with my identity, what can I do to help one at a time? So as we celebrate Black History Month, let's take a look at people like Frederick Douglass. Let's take a look at people like Dr. Martin Luther King and John Lewis. And let's take a look at what they have done. And as a part of your Black history, and I'm talking to everybody, and I know everybody on here not Black, but I'm talking to everybody, take a look and say, what can I do to make a difference in someone's life? To me, that's the most important thing that you can do as you celebrate Black history. It's the most important thing that you can do to fulfill your own soul. And also take a look at your legacy. Your legacy doesn't have to be your elementary school, but what that school did for me, it taught me persistence, resiliency, uh, um, patience. It also offered me opportunities. It also gave me the opportunity to know when to listen and when to speak. And I learned all of that from that school, from two teachers who had never gone to college. And I'm sure that's the reason I never learned Lift Every Voice and Sing, or there was a Negro History Week back during that period of time. So with that, you've been a great audience. I want to put everybody to sleep. So I just want to say it's been wonderful being with you, and it's wonderful being a part of this kickoff. And yes, Cal State, I love it. I enjoyed being a student there. I enjoyed being a faculty member there, and I miss being there. So that's the other thing you want in life. You want to surround yourself by the institutions, the organizations that you can say, I miss, not thank God, I don't have to do this any longer, but I really miss, and I really miss them. So thank you so much. And I hope I gave you enough as we do this kickoff of Black History Month, that you can walk out and you can kick off not only the month. Don't get to the 28th and say, wow, it's over. It's never over. So remember, we say Black History Month, we mean Black history, period. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Hill, for taking the time out of your day to speak to us about your legacy, your existence, and your identity. I know for me, one of my takeaways will be to remember to be honest with myself. Thank you again. Hi, everyone. My name is Ashley Howard. I use pronouns she, her, hers, and I'm here to highlight a few of our many events for Black History Month. First, on February 8th from 4 to 6 p.m., our Black History Month panel will be speaking to you on our theme, the legacy, our existence, my identity. Be sure to register to attend. Is it just me, or are these days seeming a bit longer than usual? Are you feeling restless? Could you use a pick-me-up? If you answered yes to any of these questions, check in with us on Thursdays during the month of February for our Wellness Thursdays. We will be focusing on your physical health, your mental health. So mark your calendars for February 11th, the 18th, the 20th, and the 25th from 12 to 1 p.m. And I know we're hoping that things will get back to normal soon, because I know you miss going to the movies with your family and friends, but no need to long anymore. Join us for a free movie night. Yes, I said free movie night on February 12th from 6 to 8 p.m. where we will be watching I Am Not Your Negro, based on a book by James Baldwin. Don't forget to bring your snacks, and we'll see you then. Lastly, unfortunately, we won't be able to treat you to our delicious breakfast this year, but you can still join us for our annual Pioneer Scholarship Celebration, hosted by the Black Faculty and Staff and Student Association. We will be honoring a few lucky CSUSB students with scholarships. The Pioneer Celebration will take place on February 26th from 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. If your college, department, organization is interested in making a generous donation to our scholarship fund, feel free to reach out to our association's Vice President, Anthony Robertson. His email will be in the chat soon. And for a listing of all of our events, please visit our website. It's csusb.edu/BHM. csusb.edu/BHM. And thank you for listening. I'm going to pass it over to my colleague, Evelyn Knox. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashley, so much. That was such a glorious, it's like a commercial. It was like a real life commercial. Thank you, Ashley. Nice to see everyone this afternoon. Hello, my name is Evelyn Knox, and I use pronouns she, her, hers. And I'm the coordinator of the Pan-African Collegiate Scholars Program. I'm here, though, to talk about a little bit of this phrase, plenty of room at the table. We always hear that, and I would like to say that CSUSB's Black Faculty and Staff Association and Student Association, pardon me, is the true embodiment of that phrase. One of the pivotal legs of our table are our Black student clubs and organizations. Transitioning to remote and virtual support for the pandemic affected us all, obviously, but I want to shine a particular light on the impact to our student leaders. CSUSB's Black Student Union is reemerging as a source of motivation and community for our student groups. And I am extremely proud of these students for picking the torch back up. I'd like to introduce our leaders, Elijah Jenkins, Roriana Bowman, Ishelle Pearson, and Alexandra Thamby, the 2020-2021 Black Student Union Executive Board. Take it away.
Thank you so much, Evelyn. We appreciate it. I just want to say hello to everyone. My name is Elijah, and I'm this semester's BSU president. I will hand it off to the rest of my executive board to go ahead and introduce themselves as well.
Hello, everyone. My name is Alexandra Thamby. I use pronouns she, her, hers, and I am a third-year biology major, and as well as the vice president for BSU. And yeah.
Hello, everyone. I am Roriana Bowman. My pronouns are she, her, and hers. I am a communications major with a focus in media studies, and I minor in nonprofit management. And I am your BSU Treasurer for this semester.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Aishel Pearson. I use pronouns she, hers, and hers. I am actually a junior here, so I am studying communication studies with the minor of mathematics and science. And I am you guys' secretary, so it's nice to meet everybody.
Thank you, Shelley. I would like to give a brief description and mission statement of BSU. Black Student Union is driven by its passion to promote activities of common interest as well as cultural and educational benefits for the Pan-African student body and allies. BSU is dedicated to community service and outreach, cultural enrichment and awareness, and social activism and unity. Our mission is to provide a support system that will guide students to academic success and serve as a voice for the Pan-African community at CSUSB. Thank you. And I'd like to give it to you, AJ.
Thank you. Yes, I go by Elijah or AJ, and my pronouns are he, him, his. And I'm grateful and honored to be able to give some closing remarks for this wonderful event. As a young Black man, a young Black queer man, society tells me from the jump that whatever path I take will be full of struggles, challenges, and obstacles. The same is unfortunately true for many of my sisters and brothers. I speak for myself when I say that a lot of my adolescence was spent being lost, not only in the world, but also within myself. I was struggling with trauma, my sexuality, and the absence of my father. But I know I'm not alone in these struggles. And though I had no one within my immediate family to be an example, I did have J. Cole's music, which lifted my spirits and carried me through the hardest of times. I had Maya Angelou's inspiring words, motivating me to keep going. And we have the legacy of so many amazing Black people that have fought so hard to get us to where we are. And their sacrifices are what must encourage us to continue this legacy. My identity is not solely based upon, my identity is not based upon the intentional struggles and obstacles placed on my, but how I have overcome that oppression. My identity is not solely based upon who I choose to love, but on the kindness of my heart and the legacy I leave behind. To all the people listening, and not just my young people, but everyone. Contrary to popular belief, the founding fathers of this country have tried ever so hard to erase our Black history, rebrand it, and in return, give us a month to celebrate it. I just want to remind everyone to celebrate Black history 365 days out of the year. Lastly, remember that the enemy just isn't out there. Your biggest enemy is in here. Make sure every day that you arise, you the negative ones, and you believe the most in yourself. Our mind is our power, and that is something that will never be taken away from us. Thank you. And then now I would like to hand it off to whoever I need to hand it off to.
I'm not sure if that commences the BSU portion of it, so I don't want to step on anyone's toes, but if it does, we just want to thank you all so much for stopping by and for spending your lunch hour with us. I want to thank again Jacob, Christy, Charles, BSU, Dr. Margaret Hill, President Morales, Queen Evelyn Knox. I want to thank you all for speaking with us and again, sharing your time. That is it. That is the end of our program. So we want to give you guys time to talk amongst each other. We know that some of you folks have not seen each other in a long time, so feel free to spend this next 8 or 9 minutes kind of just talking amongst yourselves. And if not, thank you so much. We hope to see you at our programs throughout the month. Be sure to check out the calendar on our Black History Month website. I think that it was placed in the chat earlier. And then we will see you all very soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was
Thank
awesome.
you. Great job. Great job.
Well done. Well done.
Yes, yes.
Good job to all the students and staff.